Hey, hey. Looking at my hair. I'm always looking at my hair, but I bet you're doing that too when you're looking in your camera and and your face is looking back at you. You're like, oh, so that's what I look like this morning. So check it out. Um, I'm in my car doing a TikTok live. Isn't this kind of perfect? Considering I tend to talk about the what do I want to call it? Um, the road trip that we're on life. Good morning. Hey, Cat Mama and Erin. Nice to see you guys. Yeah, I wasn't sure where I was going to do my TikTok live. I will share with you that I had a Pilates class earlier, and then when we were away for like barely 48 hours. We got a Facebook message from a friend who said, "Hey, how would you like to meet for breakfast on Saturday, or excuse me, Friday?" And the wonderful thing about kind of scheduling your time is knowing when you have time to do stuff so you're able to say yes to people. So we had a narrow window of time. I literally like stopped my Pilates class, ended at like 9:50, and then I had to go and walk and make sure I didn't get a parking ticket. And then we had from like basically from 10 to 11. And I thought, and here's why I'm sharing this with you. I thought, you know what? An hour is better than no time at all. You know, we had a really wonderful time. I got a little breakfast bowl, got myself some tea, hung out with our friend, and then I set my timer and I said, well, I was thinking I was going to have to walk home to do my TikTok live, and then I was like, wait a minute, I don't have to walk home because I can sit in the car. Especially, I usually walk down to my stuff, but I drove because it's raining. So here I am, literally behind the wheel of not just my car, but my life. So hop in, you guys. Hop in. I'm going someplace fun. And where I am is so decluttering life coaching. That's kind of my shtick. But I'm really here to help you on the road trip called your life. Now, moments before it was the time for me to sign on, I sat here and I thought, you know what? Even though it's rainy out, like cool stuff can happen on a gray day. So I'm here for the next hour, 58 minutes or so. And I'm here for you. Nobody else but you. And I want to help you celebrate your wins, declutter-wise and otherwise, but decluttering is usually kind of the topic that we stay in. But also, what are you struggling with? Knowing that you're not alone. Already I see a bunch of people. I love the fact that Beth liked the live. I am also a Beth. So my name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach. Damn it, Donna. Nice to see you. Hope you're doing okay. You're in Florida, right? Florida. Did you hear me? That's my Boston accent. But I am here to help you with what you're struggling with so that even at, whatever, we'd be ending around noontime today, and Abbott Elementary, nice to see you. Happy Friday as well. So by noontime today, maybe you've got some different gas in your tank. Maybe you have filled up your tank a little bit. Maybe you might feel a bit better energetically. And when you think better and feel better, you typically do better. That's one of my kind of go-tos, is if I'm not doing well, if I'm stuck, how do I get started? Now, I think it's kind of fun to think of it, well, what would I do? And I literally used to say this to myself, and now it's just so ingrained that it's part of how I think and how I feel and how I act. What would I do if I was in my car? Now think of this. This is great. I'm in my car right now. German May 95 says, got rid of 8 boxes of stuff and 6 kennels yesterday, feeling lighter. Yeah, imagine. So I'm here in one of our cars. This is a Honda Element, and we don't have the seats in the back because we used to move a lot of stuff. We used to actually have our dog's crate in the back when we had our dog. Driving around with less stuff in your car feels better. This morning, I'm going to totally share. I drove down because I was going to walk, and then I was like, oh, it's raining, I'm going to drive down. I realized I had signed up for a different class, and I didn't have my little sticky Pilates socks. Now, I had enough time to drive home, but I was driving, and I noticed something rolling around in the back seat, and it was, I think my husband had done like a duo, like an acoustic gig, so he had some, like 2 bar stools rolling around in the back. Now, that was bugging me. So what did I do? I did something to change what was bugging me. When I got home to get my sticky socks, I also said, hey, can you help me get these things out of the car? And then as I drove forward again, they weren't in the back of the car and they weren't rolling around. So notice what bugs you, and remember, you can do something about it. Okay? Now, Now, Beth is saying, see, you can do this, but Beth is saying, struggling with figuring out what clothes to keep and how to get rid of the rest. And White Cat 64 is saying, I'm so stuck, I don't know where to start. Okay, so let me help you both with this, because it's going to be the same process. If you guys have listened to me, done one-on-one coaching, I know I've got some clients on this TikTok live. If you have listened to any of my TikTok lives or maybe seen the recordings that I upload to YouTube, you'll know I tend to use the same process over and over again. This is great. It's like one of those things, like, you know, you buy the thing and you can use it on a variety of surfaces. You know, it's not just like a one-trick pony. So the first thing with everybody, myself included, before you even start your decluttering, before you even start defining your kind of destination decluttered, as I would call my coaching, check in with your body, check in with your mind, check in with yourself, capital S, yourself, okay? Now, I'm a decluttering life coach, so you're like, this is weird. I thought we were talking about cluttering. But notice, when you are feeling stuck, White Cat 64, I'm so stuck. You're not stuck. You're just feeling stuck. Notice that. Not you are stuck. You are feeling stuck because you have this thought in your head, I don't know where to start. Okay? Beth is saying, I'm struggling. I'm feeling a struggle with figuring out, I got to figure out what clothes to keep and how to get rid of the rest. Notice in both times, there's a feeling attached to kind of a thought in your head. I like to call this your head and your heart connection. Now, I offer to you is, let's even just start with calming down your nervous system so you're feeling a bit better. Feeling like you can do something is going to make it easier to do something. You know, Moki says no fuel, paralyzed by the situation. Okay, if you feel like you have no fuel, I'm in a car, I got no fuel. What would you do if you were in a car? You would probably find the closest gas station and you would put a few gallons of gas in your tank. So Moki, how about this? I don't know what's going on in your life, but I'm going to be here for the next 53 minutes. I just did the math in my head. And maybe just even listening to this can help put some gas in your tank. It may not fill you way up. You may need some other things. You may need to go to the bathroom. You may need to eat. You may need to take some headache medicine, brush your teeth. There are a myriad of things, but making yourself feel better, then you'll do better. Okay? So, Gigi Gina, nice to see you. So when you are feeling the struggle, when you are feeling what I call the overwhelm, that I am stuck because I'm looking at it all, I'm looking at all of it, it's like when you're on a road trip. I'm going to be all road trippy today because I'm literally behind the wheel. I am in my town right now, but if I knew I wanted to get to someplace far away, I know that between here and Palm Springs, California, there are a lot of decisions to make. How long do I, to get there, I have to do a lot of things. That can be overwhelming. Now, it's good to have a point, kind of a pin in your map as to what you're aiming for, because that just makes where you're going a lot quicker if you know what you're aiming for. But calming down your overwhelm, I like to use the word down as kind of a nice little shortcut, and I'll share that with you. I want you to think of the word down when you're feeling overwhelmed, and not like I feel down or, I'm brought down and all this. What I want you to think of is like breathing down, slowing down, okay, quieting down, calming down. Quick, what else? Repeating even just those 5 or whatever, Think about it. If you are in your car and you're overwhelmed and you don't know where to go, how about pulling over, putting your feet down on the ground, breathing down, a bit of this stuff like yoga, like meditation, but slowing down and quieting down and taking care of your body first. Saying, what can I do to make myself feel better? Because when I feel better, I'm going to do better. So start with your human body, but then also notice your thoughts can also be very ADHD people, my peeps, and this and this and this, but what about that? Can't do this, got to do that. Shh, quiet them down. Hush, little baby. Don't say a word. I tend to call my backseat drivers, of which we have no backseat right here, which is convenient, like a little kid in a car seat. Quieting them down, their constant chatter about what you can't do and how it's going to be so hard and it's going to be scary, quieting them down helps you feel better. Also, writing down your thoughts. When I say this, is writing down what they're saying. Okay, I will listen to you. What do you have to say? Writing it down. When you feel better, you will do better. Okay? Maybe what you do is, I like to say the opposite. Okay, so if you're stuck, you're paying like freeze tag. Remember freeze tag back in the day? If you feel stuck, what would you do in your car if you felt stuck? You would do what you could to get moving again. You know, you would turn your ignition on. You would, it's so funny, I feel weird because I have my legs crossed, but organically when I'm in the car, I've got my foot. Now it's always resting it's always there to be ready to put the gas tank on. But if I was going to start, initially I would be in a stuck place. I would be, foot on the brake. I'm in park, but I would get something that ignites the spark. What's going to get me going? So I say this to you as an order of operations. Calm down your nervous system. It's okay to be sitting there. Maybe stuck right now is a good place, because before you move forward, I want to know where I'm headed. After I leave this parking lot right here, I will be stuck for the next hour. It's okay. I know that I'm going to drive home. When I have that pin in my map, I'm going from here to home, I know what roads to take to get there. So I'm going to shut off my car now, actually. But notice what we've done. Making sure there's gas in your tank, filling up your tank, calming down, quieting down, and then putting a pin in your map. What's your destination decluttered? Now you can start with a big picture. I want my house to look like this. I want, my life to look like this. Or you can start really small. What do I want my kitchen to look like that it doesn't look like right now? When you chunk it down, that's another down. Chunking it down can help you feel better, because then you do it in a chunk to get started. I know when I leave here, I'm going to need to go forward, but if I keep on going forward, I'm going to hit that truck in front of me. So I'm going to go forward, and then I'm going to take a right, and then I'm going to take a left, and then I'm going to take another right, and then I'm going to go straight, and there's going to be some stop signs, and there's going to be some lights, and then I'm going to take another left, and then I'm going to take a right, and then I'm going to take a right, and I'm in my driveway. Notice how me going from point A to point B has all these little places to go. So getting yourself started by just saying, I'm going to go towards this direction today, can help you. Okay? So notice these things that you can do. This is what I do every day. Like I woke up today and I was like, trust me, I'm like, I don't think I've seen the sunshine since we came back. Even when we were in New England, it was rainy. So it's been a week since I've seen Mr. Blue Sky, with the exception of seeing ELO in DC on Wednesday night. But Mr. Blue Sky, and it's like, okay, but you know what? This is what I've been telling myself all week. Good things can happen even on a gray day. So even if the weather is not the way I want it to, what can I do today to make myself feel better? What can I do today? And you can do stuff. I got the power. Turn on the radio here, put on some music. I got the power. I'm not going to listen to the sad sack songs. I'm not going to listen to the stuff that brings me down. Don't bring me down, Bruce. Okay? Okay, so Moki, I love this. Thank you for sharing what's going on behind the scenes, because this is why I'm not just a decluttering person that's trying to sell you a bunch of products and whatever. I do one-on-one coaching that's paid, but what I also do is I'm a decluttering life coach, so I like to kind of pop the hood, see what's going on underneath. I could sit here all day right here, but from this perspective, I only have a certain amount of information. If my car was not moving, I would at a certain point need to walk around and pop open the hood. Now, I don't know what's going on underneath there. I might be able to be like, I wouldn't even know what I was looking at. That's when I would get professional help. I would call our mechanic and say, what's going on underneath? Help me understand what's going on so we can fix it. So Moki says, the thought, okay, and I'm going to put quotes around it so you'll understand where I'm going, that it will take me the rest of my life to fix this situation. And you feel debilitated, right? Debilitating. Ugh. Yeah. So you know what? Let's not do that. Let's change that thought. Okay? Because it will not take you the rest of your life to fix this situation. When you feel like that, however, when you think that thought and feel that feeling, it will take you a lot longer than you want it to. Because think about it. When you feel that, you're probably not going to start at all. So you're going to wait till tomorrow, wait till tomorrow, wait till tomorrow. And all these days, you're kind of not moving towards where you want to go. You haven't even started yet. So let's change that, okay? So Moki, just as an experiment, this is what I would do if we were coaching together, okay? I'd say, bring out your notebook, your workbook, fold a paper in half. I like to create 2 columns because oftentimes when we have those thoughts in our head, we think it's just the one thought. No, that's only half the story. Create 2 columns and then write down what you just said and put quotes around it. It will take, my time. And sorry, something just flipped. I want to make sure it will take me the rest of my life to fix this situation. Equals, I feel debilitated. Thought to feeling. I don't want to feel debilitated. Okay, what do I want to feel? I don't know, encouraged. So, yeah, what's a slightly more encouraging thought? What's the opposite of it will take me the rest of my life? How about this? It won't take me the rest of my life. It's not going to take me the rest of my life. Just play with the opposite. And notice how when you're playing with the words in your head, that all your thoughts are words in your head that either come to you kind of automatically because we have scripts we're running, we have certain phrases that we say, or you can consciously write out a new thought opposite that. What's the opposite? This is so not going to take me the rest of my life. The sooner I get started, the sooner it's going to be done. I'm going to feel good. I'm going to feel better than this as soon as I just get started. Feeling stuck feels crappy, so how can I get moving? I know I can start with surface clutter. So surface clutter, stored clutter, sentimental. Doing it in that order. Telling yourself better stories, putting better, more helpful words in your head changes how you feel in your nervous system, in your heart. And when you think better and you feel better, you're going to do stuff. Okay? Now, I love this. Becky says, I'm actually more productive on a gray day. Sometimes I am too because I don't have the siren song of the sunshine saying, go out and play. Jane's Design says, music and dancing is always helpful for my mood. So if I'm feeling debilitated, maybe I will put on my empowering, set list or just some songs, Tonight I'm gonna have a good time. I feel alive. Whatever you put on makes you feel encouraged, So notice these things. Notice you can do something about this. Now that can be a scary thought too, because if you've been blaming somebody else for your woes and suddenly you're like, oh, me? I can't just point out that way. I have to do something about it. It can be one of those things like, oh great, I have to do something about it. I thought I could just pew 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 ask somebody, blame it for other people. I love this. Felicia in Atlanta is saying, I'm trying 30 minutes a day. Yeah, try. How about not even 30 minutes to get yourself started? Here's the thing, you guys. If you are stuck, start with the absolute smallest thing that you can do that makes you take action, gets you moving, literally moving your body. Instead of sitting down, maybe you stand up. You stand up and in front of you, you put your hands out like this and you put your hand down on one item in your home that isn't where it's supposed to go. And then you take that one item and you put it where it is supposed to go. Now you're not stuck anymore. Now you are moving. And then you take your other hand and then you do that. And maybe you have fun. You say, I'm going to pick up something with my right hand and take care of it. And then I'm going to take something with my left hand and I'm going to take care of it. And I'm going to do this, I don't know, for 15 minutes. I set my timer on my phone and I just do this. You have now stopped being stuck and you've started getting started. Okay? So notice there are things you can do. Now I love this because as we're talking about this, because this also happens when I do these TikTok lives, these TikTok lives attract a really cool group of people, of which you are one. A cool group of people who, we're struggling with clutter, but we also want to help other people. So Cat Mama and Susan are going back and forth about what to do about mold in the basement. So even if you are stuck in a certain aspect of your decluttering or you're cleaning out somebody's house or whatever, you have something to offer. You're not a complete hopeless case. You have something that you are good at. You have an idea that you could share with somebody else, So you can do something. You can. And it doesn't have to be big and declaratory and, that I don't know why people say this because this would freak me out when people say, you won't even recognize yourself in 6 months. if you take my program. I'm like, ooh, but there are parts of me that I like. I want to recognize me, but I want to be like a slightly better version of the awesome me that I already am. Kristen Catgirl is saying your advice is wonderful. Thank you. But you know what? This would make me feel better. When I was searching for help and I didn't know what to do and I was cluttered and I was lost and I was like, I wish I had somebody kind of sitting literally. I was in the driver's seat. I'm in the driver's seat. For you guys right now, I'm in the co-pilot seat for you. Okay? What does a co-pilot do on a road trip? Encourages you like nobody's business. They bring the snacks. I bring the snacks. They bring the songs. God, do I bring the songs? I bring the songs that make the whole world sing. I have the map. And I have the can-do, encouraging attitude. Do I come back? Do I push you out of the way and drive for you? No. Because I want you to learn how to drive your life, as I used to say when I first started my coaching. To realize that if you just use the same skills you already have about driving your car, and you just said, well, what would it look like in my house? What would I do now if I was in my car? If I was stuck and I want to get started. So notice these things, okay? I love this. Annoying SMR says, hi, my house is so beautiful and peaceful, and now my husband is getting a dumpster for the garage. Notice what I like to call the positive ripple effect. You started something. And it is having a wonderful, you threw a rock and, a little stone into the water, and there is a wonderful ripple effect. For you, for me, I'm a positive ripple effect because I did something for me, and now I'm feeling good about what I did, and it helped me, and it's helping my clients, that I want to encourage you to be like, hey, you can do something about it. I am living, breathing, existing proof that you can change yourself, So I love that you getting the house done has inspired your husband to now get a dumpster for the garage. There we go. Beth says, I did clean a counter on my kitchen counter and I found items I was missing. I love the stories of when people look at decluttering, not as a chore and not that I have to do it and it's so boring. Look at it as a treasure hunt. If you go to my YouTube channel, Destination Decluttered, on YouTube, you will see recordings of all of my TikTok lives for the past, probably a year and a half now. Now, unless you're on my mailing list, the mailing list people will see even the ones from September, like the brand spanking new ones. But if you're not on the mailing list, you'll see August and before. And there was one of them within the past month and a half or so that we did that I just I say shits and giggles, but I don't like that name, just for kicks. Just for kicks. I said, I'm going to take, have you ever found something of value when you've decluttered? And somebody's like, yeah, I found a gift card. Yeah, I found a check I didn't cash. I found some actual cash. I found my diamond earrings. And I started writing it down. And there were thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of stuff that people had already. It's not like it was, it's not like some airy-fairy, like, oh, and then it just kind of floated from the sky. No, this stuff exists in your life already, but you're not going to find it unless you go digging for treasure. So why not think of decluttering as a treasure hunt? You may find something that you don't want that somebody else wants and you can sell it to them. Or even if you don't want to sell it to them, maybe you want the treasure feeling of a good feeling by just giving it to them. And what a good feeling that lifts you up. So think of it, notice, it's like, oh, it's a chore. This is going to be hard. Meh. You're not going to be excited to start. But, ooh, you know what? What treasures am I going to find today? What cool things are going to happen in my life today? I am open to finding treasure. And when you are open to discovering treasure, you're going to be looking for treasure. And when you look for it, now I'm thinking there's a Bee Gees song from back in the day. I think it was a Flip Side. Search, find, something. I'm going to go Google it afterwards, but my Gen X brain has a jukebox in it. What you search for, you will find. I think it was on the Tragedy album, but I digress. What I mean is, if you think it's going to be hard and difficult, it's going to feel hard and difficult. If you think it's going to be not that difficult and it's going to be easy and it could be fun, it will feel that way, and you will make it that way. You will show up with, oh, hey, this is going to be fun. I'm going to go drive to Lancaster tomorrow and see some friends. I know I've got a lot of stuff going on, but I'm going to make time for it. Oh, this will be cool. Maybe I'll stop here and get a little muffin. Maybe I'll do this. Oh, I can buy those wine glasses for my friend. If you think it's going to be difficult, it will be difficult. If you think it's going to be fun, it will be fun. Thinking and feeling, it's right up here. And that drives what you do with your hands. Now, I love this. Cat Mama got town approval for your porch. I love it. Yes. And it's a big motivator. I would love that. I love myself a porch, primarily a screen porch. Now, do I have one at my house? No. That's okay. I love myself a screen porch, so I love it. Oops. Susan Bennett 7, I'm sorry. I hit your name by accident. I'm going to have to do something here. This has happened before. I don't want to do that. Here, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to send you a smiley face. I apologize. This happens sometimes when I'm trying to scroll these things. You'll know where it came from. All right? Oh, huh. I love this. Lori Hanna. Lori Hanna is one of my clients. And I was just telling somebody, our friend that we had coffee with, I said, one of the things that I think is so fun about my TikTok lives is I never know what's going to happen. So we have a special guest star here because we've got Lori Hanna, and I know Erin's a client, and Lori is a client, and she says, Beth is the best coach. On my 4th package, finally had the mental shift that makes this easier and sustainable. There we go. Easier and sustainable. Who doesn't want it to be easy? Who doesn't want it to be sustainable? And Lori, yes, sometimes these things take a while. But you know what I love about what Lori has done? She has not given up on herself. She has stuck with it. She has continued coaching even when it seems like what was going on wasn't working. When things come out of the blue, when you have to deal with things, but she is committed and she is making the progress. And sometimes you do need to stick with it for a while. That's why while I only offer a 10-week package, I never say it's just one and done. No, I am with you as a coach for as long as it takes for you to get the result you want. I will be there for you for 20 to 30, whatever it takes, I will be there for you. Now it's just a matter of, will you be there for you? Will you stick with it? Will you stick with yourself to get the result you want? Or will you say, oh, this isn't working and I bail? It's completely up to you. But look, she's feeling that this is easy and sustainable. That's what we want. Okay. Now, I love this. Here we go. I love it. I love this. Annoying ASMR says, you helped. He was sneak listening. What's that lady on TikTok saying to my wife? Is she saying to beat up your husband or tell him to go buy a diamond ring? No. What I will share with your husband, if I was talking to your husband right now, it'd be like, you know what? We all struggle with clutter in a one way, shape, or form. Either because we didn't learn how to declutter, we learned how to clutter, or somebody else did it for us and we never learned the skills. Decluttering is a life skill, and it is a life skill that improves your life. Notice this. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay, Moki is going through, have to do something about another person's downfall that affects me. Enabled for too long. Yeah, notice, I'm going to be all about you. I show up as a one-on-one coach, and when I do that, that's the thing I love the most. I love doing these TikTok lives, but it's a bit like, and I love myself a cocktail party, but I'm the hostess, so I'm trying to be like, oh, are you okay? This is good. I get to be at a certain level of that kind of surface clutter chit-chat. This is good, and we may get a layer deeper. I love getting into really good conversations with people. I love allowing people the space and the quiet to get into those. What's the layer deeper? And that's what coaching does. It gives you the time to say, hey, I'm going to carve out this time, an hour a week on Zoom. What do I want to get into? What do I want to get curious about? What's underneath the surface? And it's because it's surface clutter. Things can look good on the surface, but but if they don't feel good underneath, we haven't done our job well. Okay. Now, one step forward, 2 steps back. How about this? 2 steps forward, 1 step back. How about Moki playing with that? Okay, you broke your back in March. That does suck. I'm not going to lie. That must suck. There's only so much you can do in a week. Okay. Let me offer this. Okay. Maybe this will help you. Maybe this will make you feel better. Think of this order of operations. I'm always thinking about things you do in a certain order. So I talk about surface clutter first, and then stored clutter, and then sentimental clutter. I want to talk about your head and your heart and your hands. Notice the last thing in that process is the hands, is the physical aspect of the decluttering. If right now you are physically unable to easily do a lot of decluttering, That's okay. That's okay. You know why? Because decluttering starts in here and up here before it ever gets to your hands. So while you're laying on your couch, you could write a list. I'm looking around. I spy with my little eye a whole bunch of stuff that bugs me about this room. You then write it down, but always write things down on a folded in half piece of paper to remind yourself that what you're seeing is only half the story. Then you turn to page 3, like Paul Harvey, the rest of the story. That was a really old school Gen X deep cut, but I digress. This is how my brain works, and I just run with it. Writing down what you don't like means that you want the opposite. If I don't want it cluttered, I want it to be neat. If I don't want that hassock to be there, I want it to be somewhere else. I don't want it anymore, I'm going to give it away. So I say this as encouragement, encouragement to give you the courage to say, even if I can't currently move my body, there is something I can do today to change the trajectory of my life. And if that sounds, again, if that's like, whoa, change the trajectory of my life, simmer down now. It's cool. We're just changing some clutter in your kitchen. Okay? Yeah. Okay? Learning to Love Me First says, I wish I could send this to my, okay, here, I'm backing up. I'm finding some stuff here. Okay, digging for treasures is fun. Yeah, Learning to Love Me First says, I wish I could send this to my friend without being offensive. Okay, so here, Learning to Love Me First, I get wanting to help your friends. Why do you think I got into coaching? I want to help people. Here's an idea. I'm strategic. Okay, so Learning to Love Me First. Think about something that your friend has complained about struggling with. Not that you think she needs help with. No. Because that could be judgy. Hey, you're cluttered. But what has she, and I'm being judgy by thinking it's a she, but I'm going to go with it anyway. What is a cluttery thing that she has complained about in her own life? Think about that. Put it in the comments. I will give you some talking points and some suggestions so that the next time she complains about it, you can say, hey, I saw this decluttering life coach. I was scrolling on TikTok and I came across this lady. Listen to me, I'm a lady. I came across this lady and she was talking about that very same thing. And what she recommended was this. You might like her. She's kind of goofy. She's fun. She doesn't show up all fancy all the time. She just came from Pilates. She had some coffee. It's raining. She's in her car. You might like her. I find her enjoyable because she talks about not just decluttering, but all sorts of stuff. So notice what we're doing. We're trying to help your friend, but your friend, we have to meet her where she's at. You have to meet yourself where you're at. If you're ready to make the change, I'm there for you. But also, if you're not quite ready, maybe what's going to take you to get ready to change these things? Yeah. You know what? There we go. I love it. Cluttering took some time, and so will the shift to decluttering. Right? Beth says that, and Lori will attest. Susan says, is hoarding a form of OCD? Sure. Yeah. You know what? We do things. I like to make things so uber simple, like so super simple. I say we as humans do things to make ourselves feel better. Whether that is surrounding ourselves with clutter or getting rid of clutter or being in control of things or letting things go. All we do is try to make ourselves feel better. So yeah, sure. It is. Now you know that, how does that change things? Kelly Burke Bradford says, it all absolutely does take time and focus. Thank you so much, Beth. You taught me to chunk it down. Yeah, that's another down. Remember I was talking about starting with yourself and quieting down and calming down and slowing down and breathing down. And again, quieting the backseat drivers. Shh. Luckily, my backseat drivers are napping because they're like, oh, we're safe. I feel safe. I don't have to worry. When you feel safe, what's going to make you feel safe? Like a dozing kid in the back seat and trusting that the person in the driver's seat is steering in the right direction. That when they wake up, they're like, oh, where are we? Oh, this is okay. We're in an okay place. Think about that. Chunking it down. I learned that from somebody else. And I pass it on to you, and then you learn it from me. And like that Fabergé organic shampoo commercial, you tell 2 friends, and so on and so on and so on. And when we all collectively calm down our fears and turn up the love and turn up the fun, when we quiet down the fear and we turn on the good stuff, the love, the possibility, the encouragement, the sharing, there's nothing we can't do. But if we stay in a fear-based mode, we're going to be paralyzed, and that's why people try to make you afraid. Call them on that bullshit. Notice the people that are reaching, that are in your life, even your backseat driver, is like, no, don't do that. That could be scary. No, that's never going to work. Don't. No. Scary. It's a scary world out there. Don't. Stay safe. Even if it's like, protect yourself with your clutter. Really? Really? Unsafe? Nah. It's just a bunch of people struggling, trying to do the best with what they can to move forward in life. You know? Jen says, I love the Gen X memes. Man, did you come to the right place? Yeah, I love it. Cat Mama says, yes. Been working on mine and my mother's house for a year. I sold her house in November. Yeah, the decluttering, much like gaining weight. And trust me, I'm always bringing this parallel up because right now, gaining weight is so much easier for me to do than losing weight. But it doesn't happen in a day, so it won't be lost in a day. But starting on that journey makes you feel better. Again, a journey, a road trip. You're driving. Well, I'm not going to get to Palm Springs today, but I'm on my way. And sometimes, I'll be honest with you, if you do it right, the journey is almost more fun than the destination. As fun as the destination. How's that? As fun, because I don't want you to get discouraged. But then you get to the destination, you're like, all right, that was fun, and being here is fun. And you hang out there for a while, and you're like, okay, that was fun. What else do I want to do? Where else do I want to go? And if I love the journey, I then pick another destination and I drive towards that. And I pick another destination and I drive towards that. And I have fun along the way and I take my time and I do it right. Take your time, do it right. We can do it, baby. You know, you're cruising along. I was talking with a client yesterday about that feeling when you're on the road. And you're driving at the right speed for you, and you're noticing the things that are passing by, and you're passing by the things you don't want to deal with, those unhelpful billboards, and you're focusing on the stuff you do want. And you're like, ooh, that looks like a cool place. Maybe I'll take a detour right here because I want to feel good. And I trust that even if I take this detour, it's worth it because I am still going to get to my destination. You know? There we go. Apple user 2785328 says, I just found you. Here I am. I've been here all the time. I've been waiting for you. Welcome. You know, some of my life, you need your assistance. Okay, so here, I'll reintroduce myself. My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. Destination Decluttered is all you need if you want to find me here on TikTok. There I am. If you want to find my recorded TikTok lives, they're on Destination Decluttered on YouTube. For your friends, because I know we have those friends that don't understand how fun TikTok can be. They're like, I don't know about TikTok. Fine. I do show up occasionally with pre-recorded videos on Instagram and Facebook. I also have a website. Big surprise. It's called destinationdecluttered.com. Okay, so many places you can find me and follow me and find out when I'm doing a TikTok live, because I do these TikTok lives almost every day. Almost. I am consistently inconsistent. But you know who knows when I'm doing TikTok lives and when I don't, besides me? Are the people on my mailing list. So I have a mailing list, the Destination Decluttered mailing list. I know I'm supposed to call it something more crafty and like, oh, we're a community and we're a family and all that. I like to be really, you know, I really am conscious of the words I use. And I find it disingenuous when somebody's like, welcome to the family. I don't know about you, but I think families are dysfunctional sometimes. So I am careful with what I use. I also, frankly, I will say, hey, friend. You know, but I know I have really close friends, and I know I have people that I call friends. But I digress. Notice the power of your words. Calling somebody a friend versus calling them an enemy. You know? Same person, two different words. You know? There we go. Yeah, actually, Beth, you've got it right on the nose. She's saying decluttering playlist would be fun. Music to clean by. I have a list started. I'm going to get my friend. I thought of doing one. I'm going to experiment with doing one, like a YouTube playlist. Maybe I'll work on that this afternoon when I get home. But my husband rightly said that it may be interrupted by commercials and stuff. I also have a friend who has a Spotify station. He's a DJ and he does a lot of things. So I'm going to see if he can put something up there and I'll share the link. Okay. There we go. Yes. There we go. Gigi Gina says, I consider you my friend too. Well, thank you. As do I. I mean, here's the thing. We can be friendly. We are friendly people, you know, and you can trust me as a friend. You can trust me because I'm trustworthy. I'm worthy of trust because I'm pretty simple and straightforward. I'm from New England. I don't pussyfoot around. I will call it as I see them, but I do it with love. Okay? So notice these things. Sherry says, I love that you post on YouTube so I can watch anytime. Yeah. And I love this. And I say, that's why I did that actually it was somebody else's idea, but I do that so when I'm not doing a TikTok live, that there are resources available to you. I don't leave you high and dry. It's like, hey, I'm going out of town, but I'm still feeding the cats. Here's some nutrition for you, you know, as I go travel, because I do a lot of traveling. Disneyak is asking, what are my qualifications to counsel people? I'll tell you. I'm a certified life coach. I am also somebody who has mentored and led people and managed people pretty much all my life. I realized when I was talking to my mother recently that on my maternal side of my family, I am the oldest the oldest daughter of an oldest daughter of an oldest daughter of an oldest daughter. Is there any reason you think why I do not have children of my own? But I also have the desire to help other people. Yes, I get paid for doing my one-on-one coaching, but that is a fraction of what I do. I care about empowering people and showing you can do something about what bugs you. I approach this with love and camaraderie and not like a transactional, let me get some money from you and then fly by night. So those are my qualifications and I feel good about them. I also love it, you know, that I just meet a lot of really cool people and to see the light in their eyes when they're like, oh, I get it now. I can do something here. I can quiet down those backseat driver voices. I can quiet down those voices in my head, but also the external voices of those people. My mother or my father or my friend who's judgy. I can be like, yeah, okay, whatever. Turn them off and then turn up the fun. So I hope that helps. Painted Owl is in New Hampshire. I grew up in Mass and now I'm in Pennsylvania. Yeah, you know. Okay. How about Moki says, I had the desire to help, but it helped no one better themselves. How about this, Moki? You can't help somebody else unless you help yourself. The only reason I am showing up now where I am in my journey is because I tested what I practiced what I preached, and I have transformed my life. And I know that is kind of like coaching jargon, but it's the absolute stone cold truth. You can better help people when you embody the knowledge yourself. You're not just parroting something that you read and hope it works. People can smell inauthenticity. People can pick it up when you're radiating that pure kind of aura of sincere wanting to help, but also coming from a place of wisdom and knowledge, because you're not just talking the talk, you're walking the walk, or you're driving the drive, you know? So notice this. You know, yeah, and Cat Mama and Moki, I will say that from a coach perspective. You are right. When you are working harder than the person you're helping, it's time to step back. Yeah, the person has to want to help themselves. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. So I show up and I say, when you are ready to do some things, and even when I do coaching, so I coach people and I do a consultation. I got to actually look at my calendar because I know I have no consultation slots on my calendar. 2 of the questions I will ask you, I ask them all of my potential clients is, you know, knowing that to make a change, you're going to need to do some different things. On a scale from 1 to 10, how ready are you to do something different to then get what you want? If they are a 9 or a 10 or an 11, I'm like, hell yeah, we can work with something. But if they're like, I don't know, 5 or 6, I can't bring them those extra 5 steps. I get curious as to why they're afraid to move forward. I don't judge them. But you gotta, just making yourself available and planting the seed that when you're ready, I am ready for you, helps give people the opportunity to feel ready. Okay? All right. So Suzanne M., let me help you with this. All right? Susanna M is saying, going through holiday decor today. I need a pep talk to get rid of stuff not used in a while but has a memory. Okay, this is a lovely thing, and especially you guys, next week is October 1st. October, we've got Halloween. November, we have Thanksgiving. And December, we have Christmas for me, but I say the December holidays. And then we have New Year's. Let's not forget New Year's, the beginning of a new year. These months are different than any other months in the calendar declutter-wise because you have stuff that you had the legit reason to have all your holiday decor packed away for January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Now it's coming out. And now you have to face what you packed away last year. Now, here's a really interesting concept I want you to even just think about. Planting seeds. Planting seeds, okay? So, Suzanne, notice you have a thing, you have a piece, you have an object. It probably came from, Woolworths, China, Pottery Barn, wherever. You have an item that you also have a story attached to it. It didn't come from the store with that story. You attached a story to that item. You also have the power to detach the story from the item and then decide what you want to do there. Do you want to keep the story or let it go? Do you want to keep the item or let it go? You can keep the story without keeping the item. You can take a picture of the item to remember the story. You can write down the story. This is my little writing it down. So just notice that you have the ability. Just because that thing reminds you of so-and-so at Christmas or Thanksgiving or your mother's china, do I want to keep that story? Do I feel good about using these dishes? Or am I like, oh God, got to bring out Graham's dishes. I hate these things. I can't put them in the dishwasher because they have that gold rim. They don't go with my decor. I feel resentful because I'm feeling forced to use these. Notice all those things. Fold the paper in half, write all that stuff down. And then say, oh, isn't this interesting? That's going through my head. What would I rather feel at Thanksgiving? How do I want to feel? What do I want my table to look like? My table, not Grammy's table, my table. What do I want my table to look like? And you write that down on the other side. There is an opposite. When you're learning the stuff you don't want, it helps you to realize what you do want. Now, this is really cool, and thank you, Erin, for saying this, because you've said this to me before and on TikTok Live, so I'll say it. So Erin says, better than my therapist. Helped me discover the why and what to do about it. Yeah, and that's the thing I love about coaching is I love hanging out, like in our togas, in our, the Athenaeum or whatever, and being like, oh, this is so cool. It's all up here. Yeah, I get that. But coaching is different. Coaching, at least me, I'm like, this is all well and good. What are we going to do with this info? What are we going to do with this insight to make your life look and feel and function more like you want it to? So that's what I love about coaching is empowering you to take action, Yeah. And Lori is saying too, in coaching, we deal with the deeper reasons of why I got cluttered. It is the reason I'm doing well. Yeah, this is why I show up to do what I do, because we don't often give ourselves the chance to pull over to the side of the road and just say, hey, what's going on here? Why am I here? How did I get here, right? Like David Byrne, how did I get here? And then listen for the answers. And then notice that stuff and don't judge yourself, don't beat yourself up. And say, okay, am I digging where I am? I will tell you this, it was 20 years ago today. Sergeant Pepper taught the band to play. It was 20 years ago today that my husband and I had lunch. Not today, I mean this season, let's say. We had a lunch at a place across the street here. We didn't live in this town. We didn't even live in this state. But we came up here and there was something about the town we live in that we fell in love with. And we said, you know what? There's something here that draws us. Let's try to move here. Boom. Within 6 months, we lived here. We've lived here for almost 20 years and we freaking love it. But we never would be here if we didn't sit there and ask ourselves what we want. And then, honestly, especially me, calm our nervous systems the fuck down. I was a mess. I was so fearful and frantic and breathing, hyperventilating and crying and stressed out about this whole thing because I was afraid, what if I get what I want and I don't like it? I had rarely gone for what I wanted, so it felt really different to do what I want. But man, when we did that, oh my God, best freaking decision we ever made. So notice those things that get you all riled up, but notice maybe that's because there's something that's kind of creating tension. The stuff that you don't like, you're cool. You're like, yeah, no, I don't do basketball. That's fine. The stuff you do love, you're like, oh, but you know what I love to do is I love to play Othello and listen to records. I'm like permanently in like 4th grade. Notice the things that you're like, I don't know, I kind of want it, but I kind of don't. I kind of want it, but I kind of don't. I'm afraid to get it. You know, the tension. Notice what brings up that tension in you. It could be the possibility of being on the other side of that stress and expanding your nervous system to be like, let me go for what I want. What's the worst that can happen? You know? Yeah. Okay, Jen, thanks for sharing that. I had a feeling Beth would be helpful that way. Yeah. And best money I've spent on myself in a decade. And Erin, I love that. And I love the fact that I get to meet some really cool people when I'm coaching. You know, I mean, talk about one of the cool things in life. It's not the stuff, it's the people, it's the connections. And to be able to connect with people, because, you know, Erin lives in one state, I live in another, Abbott Elementary lives in another, Lori Hanna lives in another, and yet, because of technology, we get to meet and we get to hang out and we get to help each other. Because when I'm coaching people, I become a better coach. And then that coaching I have can help you, you know? So, yeah. Good stuff. Okay. So Judy says, I love that your brain goes to the same movie and music references as mine, movie Tourette's. Yeah. You know what? I call it Gen X because we watched a lot of probably the same TV shows and they weren't on constantly. I'll never forget reading an article about the fact that pop culture references used to be almost like a currency. Now you can look up everything. So it's different, but this is the stuff that meant something to me. You know, put one foot in front of the other and soon you'll be walking across the floor. You know, that's what it's all about, Charlie Brown. You know, let's be independent together. You know, I have no dreams left to dream. Like literally, if many of those Rankin Bass and Charlie Brown Christmas specials weren't around, I would be quiet. But then I would listen to the radio, WRKO, 68 RKO, Boston. And then I would know a bunch of songs, you know? Alrighty. So Zan M says, we need to take albums of those photos and make looking through your photos part of the holidays. Yeah. Yeah, don't just keep your stuff. Play with your toys. Don't just pack away things for somebody else to go through. I love the decluttering process because it allows you to interact with the things that you said, I want to keep these. But do I want to keep them just to be a storage unit? No. I want to keep these because they remind me of something. Or maybe I want to keep these because I'm afraid I don't want to make the decision. You know? So Judy says, did you see the Sgt. Pepper movie with the Bee Gees? I did not. However, there are a couple of really good songs from that soundtrack. Because I will say my number one Beatles cover is Got to Get You Into My Life by Earth, Wind & Fire. And I remember when Aerosmith did, what was it, Come Together, maybe? My cousin Kim, who recently passed away. She didn't even get to turn 61. She and I were total, like, Beatles, Monkees. I was more Beatles than her. We were more Beatles and Bee Gees. We used to dance around my grandmother's house to the records we bought. We used to listen to those things. Yeah, I have fond memories of those things. So we all have, but notice where my heart goes. Notice where my hand goes when I remember things. I know technically it belongs up here, but it really is in here. You know, it is a total fever dream. Yeah, I would like to see it at a certain point because I love that stuff, you know. And yeah, Painted Owl Design, it's going to happen to all of us. I have lost 4 friends in this year, and I'm not even fucking 60 years old. This is going to happen to all of us, and then it's going to be us. Now, this is me. Maybe it's because I'm Irish, but I'm also, you can't be a life coach without talking about death. And to me, death is a motivator. Because we know it's going to happen, but we don't know when. So let's make sure that we are doing good stuff in our lives so that if it happens and when it happens, we can look back and be like, you know what, I did some pretty damn good things with that life. And I am doing my stuff sooner rather than later. I am totally making up for lost time. Because I want to look back and have memories instead of having regrets. Okay? So, yeah. You know, oh, Christina, nice to meet you. Okay, hard truths. Yeah, you know what? Good truths. So, truths. They resonate. They get you. They make you feel a feeling, you know? And this is what I say, like, yeah, we're all going to die. I wish I could say otherwise, but then do I really want to say no? Because sometimes having that I only have this amount of time gets you to take the action that if you said, oh, I got 150 years, I don't have to worry about it. But I will share this too. This is another big one that I'm really struggling with myself, is the fact that even if I have 30 years in front of me, my body is going to be declining no matter what I do. My body has been only designed to live a certain amount of time. So even if I have the time on the clock and on the calendar, it will be more difficult for me to do things. My brain could change. I have dementia in my family. I have Alzheimer's in my family. I do this now because I do have a concern that if I get into my 60s and 70s, that I could lose my memory like other people I'm related to. So I'm doing all this now as I have my capacity, because who knows physically and mentally what is ahead. So you guys, I say this as a motivator. Get down on it. Get in gear and start living the life you want sooner rather than later. Yeah. Okay, so Moon Sulitz, you don't want any memories of this life at all? Awesome. Works for you, Yeah, how do I declutter for mom or someone else? I would say this, Prof. Sky Gentile, I would say start with yourself. Are you good with your clutter? Because you don't know what you're going to run into with them unless you've run into it with yourself. I didn't realize until I was decluttering that there were what I call like the 3 layers: the surface clutter, the stored clutter, the sentimental clutter. I didn't know there could be a process to use. When you learn it yourself, I mean, you can learn it from me, or you can kind of make something up as you go along, then you have a process to teach them. Then you say, oh, I know what's happening right now, is that they are starting immediately with the hard stuff. They are not saying all the stuff in the kitchen. No, they're saying, what do I do with this tiny little thing that my grandmother gave me when I was 4 years old? And they're getting all freaked out and stressed out about that. And in the meantime, there's so many other easier things they could deal with, And if the people are willing and want the help, show up with love and patience and kindness and generosity and openness, and meet them where they're at and hang out with them and help them as long as they want, but also notice when they're becoming overwhelmed and done. Now, I say this because I've walked through this myself. 3 years ago, my dad had passed in 2010. It took her 11 years to realize that she couldn't blame him for the clutter anymore, because she's in the same house. Both of my parents were clutter bugs. And she realized that she couldn't blame him and she needed some help. I had been saying all of my life, I can help you with that because it's something I'm good at, because I didn't like growing up in a cluttered home, and I had jobs that allowed me to build my skill set on how to not to be cluttered. You got to show up and be open and ready for them, and even just knowing there's help when they're ready will help them. But if they're not ready, it doesn't do what you think to force yourself upon them. Okay? So notice this. Yeah. Showing up, notice, not fear, but love. Not discouraging, but encouraging. Not judgment, but curiosity. There is another side to it. There's always another side. It's kind of like, as I always say, it's like a coin. It's like a piece of paper. It's like 2 columns in like a steno book. It's like Davy Jones on the Brady Bunch. How about the flip side? There's a song on the other side. If you're listening to an unhappy song on one side of your 45 RPM record, flip over that song and it's going to be a more positive one. What's something that's going to encourage you as opposed to discourage you? My mom had dementia. She didn't realize I was clearing out, started a year before she died. Yeah, it will be tougher when she's gone, or it could be easier. It could be easier because then I know it's going to be easier for my mom, us to clean out the house because she's not ready yet. That's cool. But when she's gone, man, I'm calling up that auction house and I'm saying, come in and get all this stuff, because I don't want it, because I've already gone through the process myself. Now, we have a minute left. And this is so funny. This is perfect timing, because as it turned to 11:59, a text, I thought I put my texts on Do Not Disturb, but I got a text from a friend and 13 other friends, because we have a wonderful group of people here, encouraging me to say, hey, we're having a party. I want to see what that's all about. But what I want to share with you is this, before we leave. First of all, my name is Beth. I am Destination Decluttered. Remember that here for TikTok, for YouTube, for DestinationDecluttered.com, on Facebook, on Instagram, wherever Beth, fine selling wines are sold. I am a decluttering life coach. I work one-on-one with people for paid coaching. Yes, that's what I do. I also have a free website. Go to my website, a free mailing list, and you can sign up for that. And once a month, the people on the mailing list, it's free, we will show up on Zoom and we will do some sort of thing together. This month is going to be something awesome, different, special, love it. And I also do these TikTok lives. Now, if you want to know when my next TikTok live is going to be, is jump on my mailing list, destinationdecluttered.com. Sign up for the mailing list. You will have access to the place where I schedule my TikTok lives. You will know when I'm doing them, so you can show up, and when I'm not doing them, so you can listen to some recordings to, get you through the tough times. Thank you, Erin. I will have a great weekend. And Moki, say, always instilling encouragement. Notice how it feels when you have courage in you. Notice it feels better than discouragement. So what can you do? How can you talk to yourself like I have spoken to you for the past hour so that you feel better after you hear yourself? Now, it is like learning a foreign language sometimes. If you're used to always beating yourself up and talking yourself down, quiet down that voice and then turn up the fun on this one, okay? I'm going to sign off, but seriously, if you haven't liked my TikTok page, like it. If you think there's a friend out there who could use me, use my info, share my info, sign up for the mailing list. Take an action to remind yourself that this is important to you, okay? And then I got to come up with a better, signing off phrase, but right now I'll just say, I'll see you when I see you, okay?